I'd like to call to order the BUHS number 6 board meeting, Monday, October 17th, 2011. Welcome, everyone. We have some new faces here down at the far end, representing Student Council, I believe, Chloe Burrows and Carly Emmon. Not Iman, right? Emmon, yes. Iman's a well-known name around here, too, so I may get confused once in a while. And also Jerry Curry, assistant band principal. I think this is your first meeting, isn't it? Yeah. And all the rest are, well, we have our part-time occasional visitor, Paul, from the central office, representing Ron this evening. Okay, we'll move into the agenda, and we'll start with the clerk's report. And tonight we have 2 sets of minutes for approval, the September 19th and October 3rd. And I would start with September 19th, and is there a motion to accept the minutes? So moved. Second. You second. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions on September 19th minutes? If not, can I move to accept them?
So moved.
I guess we just vote on it. Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes of September 19th as written, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I think everyone was here. Okay. Then we move on to October 3rd. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of October 3rd?
So moved.
Except for your tie. Second to Sean. So, are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the October 3rd minutes? If not,
yeah, just a question on the paragraph that Mr. Torney nominated Ms. Barton, and then is there anything in there? Do we need a motion pass, or it already is there? I guess we have.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was a slight.
Oh, it says the motion passed, and that should be granted.
Maybe to square that away prior. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I thought I did that.
Yeah.
But not.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's just a little technicality there, but it doesn't change the what happened. But thank you, Russ.
Repeat your stuff.
Any other additions, corrections, deletions? All in favor of approving the minutes of October 3rd, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And any abstentions? Okay. The minutes of both meetings are approved. Are there any communications?
I have a question. I don't know whether it's communication. I have information from Vernon's Transportation Committee. Would that be communications, or do I bring that up when we talk with high school? We met due to late buses, and I just wanted to tell the board and the principals what. Do I do that now?
Okay, I don't see why you can't. Yeah, it's communication you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've been having a problem with late buses in Vernon coming up to the high school, middle school. So Mike Hebert, who's on transportation, and I rode the buses, and we checked stops, and we checked timing, and there was nothing that we could do on our end. So we met with Ron Staley this morning, and the guy from First Student.
Brian Davis,
thank you. And talked about what we could do to help alleviate some of the times on the buses. And in the afternoon, we have 3 buses, V1, 2, and 3. We're going to take the V2 students and put them on the V1 bus. And we need to get the parents to know this information because we're not sure that the students are passing it on to them. So Ron's office is supposed to talk to your staff or have his staff. I'm not sure who's going to do it. Call those parents and let them know to get the V2 students onto the V1 bus.
Is that in the afternoon?
Only in the afternoon, right. It's with pickup. Then that V1 bus is going to go to the church on 142, the White Church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and meet the V2 bus because then by then she'll be finished up her elementary route and get those V2 kids on the V2 bus, and she'll distribute them. And we also...
She's going to meet the V3 bus at the
V2
church?
bus. No,
V2
V3 is
right.
picking up their own
V2
kids.
is going on to V1, so, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
V2's going.
All right.
Get
Meet
on there for
V2 at the
straight.
church. That
We
actually
also-
happened today, Mary Ann, what you're
Yeah, I
describing.
think it happened Friday, too.
Yeah, yeah.
But our concern is that the parents don't know,
Yeah.
and there may be kids that are riding the bus, or not riding the bus, that they don't know what's going on. So we just want to make sure everybody knows,
Yes.
because it seems like there's decisions being made and they're not communicating it to the parents. So
Okay.
we're hoping that this minor adjustment will make more of a big adjustment. And we're still concerned with them getting so late to school. I don't know if you guys have a better feel for the timing.
Well, in fact, I had a call from a Vernon parent this morning, and I think before your meeting occurred, and I looked at the times. They were about as good as they have been this morning, coincidentally. We had an 8:25, that was B3, and then 1 and 2, I'm not sure which is which, 8:31 and 8:33. Our target arrival time is 8:30, so they really weren't that far off today. Better than they were yesterday, I mean last
week.
Friday and Thursday, so definitely an improvement.
Okay. And what's the earliest the students can get here? Do you have a time frame?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Anything else under communications or under the clerk's report? Okay. Do we need to approve that, or we approved all the minutes?
No, approve the minutes.
Nothing else. Okay, so recognition of groups and individual visitors. I don't see anybody out there in the audience, but we welcome all the folks who may be watching this on television. Is there a motion to move into consent agenda?
So moved.
Second? Second, Pete? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay. First, finance, building, and transportation. I will give that report and move to a different section here. Finance Committee met on October 5th, and we approved warrants numbers 1055, 1057, and 1059 through 1063 in the amount of $378,639.81. In addition, we approved payrolls from September 9th in the amount of $592,495.31, and September 23rd in the amount of $484,631.98. We talked a little bit, very briefly, about the capital plan. Jim updated us for the October 19th meeting, which is coming up this Wednesday, obviously. He'll have more information for us and a tentative outline of the five-year capital plan and what might show up in that. We also had a visitor at the finance meeting. Andy Rome from Wells Fargo Advisors was there to report on the Eames Fund. As you may recall, the Eames Fund is divided, in terms of management, is divided up about 50-50 between Wells Fargo and A.G. Edwards. Phil is A.G. Edwards. I always get A.G. Edwards and Edward Jones, but I think it's A.G. Edwards. Anyway, it's divided in about half, and Andy was there to give us a periodic report. The Eames Fund kind of reflects the activity of the stock market, and it's performed about the same as the other half. His half has about the same as the other half, and if we looked at it today, it would look a little better than it did on October 5th when he reported to us. But we ask each of the investment managers to report to us periodically, at least once a year or so, as to how they have invested and so forth. And it's invested based on the directions that we've given them. And it's invested in such a way that if there is such thing as a safe investment, it's spread around appropriately, and we felt that it was still spread appropriately. The Wells Fargo part is managed by called the Russell Group that manages it. So we had a report from Andy. And that was the basics of the October 5th meeting. Again, the next meeting is this Wednesday, October 19th. And I believe by that time we may have a tentative budget meeting scheduled. I'm hoping. It's not that far away. Okay. Planning and policy. is
It hasn't met since our last meeting, and I know there's some stuff coming up on new business.
on the new business for approval. Yeah. Okay, teacher curriculum committee.
We met earlier this evening, and we got a presentation by Steve Rice from the high school music department related to how he's using technology for students to record and play back instrumental practices and things like that. It was a wonderful experience.
Smart music, right?
Yeah, smart music. And I think we all kind of got a better handle on how the whole music department works a little bit better, which is really nice.
Ready for TCC?
Yep.
How about the BAMS committee?
The BAMS committee has not met since our last meeting.
Okay. And the Career Center. Well, I guess I can report on that. We are going back and forth on scheduling a meeting, and where is it that we're at now, Dave?
I believe we're at Thursday, October 27th at 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
AM.
AM, yes.
yes.
Preferably AM.
And we'll kind of review ongoing as to how we can coordinate the timing for the meeting so everybody can make it more comfortable.
I have to admit, you guys are a remarkably busy trio of people. So.
And there's quite a few morning meetings around
Yes,
these
indeed.
parts.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else for consent agenda? Is there a motion to accept consent agenda? So moved.
Second?
Okay. That. And, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We move on to administrative reports. Let's start today with Ingrid. Is that okay?
Well, believe it or not, we probably have the least to report. We've been so consumed with kneecaps, which Jerry is boxing up on Thursday, and we're having a going away party for the kneecaps. So truly, that has consumed us for the past 2+ weeks. Our kids have been terrific. They always are. And we're gearing up for parent conferences, which are being scheduled November 9th in the evening, November 10th in the afternoon, and November 11th in the morning. About 12 hours of conference time scheduled over that 3-day period. And we have some openings if parents haven't signed up. Our newsletter will probably go out by Wednesday of this week, and there's also a piece in there about the newsletter. Did board members get the last newsletter, by the way? Yes, okay.
Wasn't that long ago, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think I got 2.
You did? Were they the
Three
same?
and both.
Okay, I don't know how that happened, but we have an amazing office staff. I mean, they're all brand new in their positions, but they have come together to work so well together. And learning the systems or developing new systems, and we are every day we just talk about how happy we are, Jerry and I, with the staff we have. They're great. We miss our old office staff. They were wonderful, but these new folks are great. Jerry's going to talk to you about something coming up for the kids on Wednesday of this week.
Well, we had our second annual kneecap pep rally campaign to try to get some spirit and enthusiasm about doing their best. That's our campaign title is We Give It Our Best. And we asked students to fill out and self-assess their effort and their different strategies that they use while they're taking the kneecap test. We collect all those, we look at those, and then we give them a certain percentage of the number of kids that are giving it their best. And if they reach 95% or higher, then we promise them this incentive day. And so Wednesday, we have our incentive day coming up. We'll run a half-day schedule in the building, and then in the afternoon, kids have been signing up the last few days at lunch for activities anywhere from wiffle ball to sewing pajama bottoms with Mary Lenny. And there's just all kinds of activities throughout the day. So the cafeteria, cafe services have been wonderful. They have not only provided us bagels and breakfast for every student, but also they're going to help organize a pizza. So we'll feed all the kids pizza and a couple sides and milk, and then we'll go into these different activities that they can choose from. So they're pretty excited about that. That's our Wednesday.
Making the most of kneecaps, huh?
Trying to make the most of kneecap, exactly.
Yeah, because the question on kneecap, maybe this has already happened, but I know we got the science results back. I mean, will we get a presentation at some point on those, the kneecap science?
I can give the board a bit of an overview. We did slightly better than state average this year. That's actually not saying a lot, but our school did perform better than the average in the state. Paul, do you have a handle on? I mean, I can do this better at the next meeting.
Yeah, no, that's how.
In terms of the areas, the strands, and where the relative strengths appear to be versus not so strong. I know earth science has traditionally been a weaker strand for our kids. It is not part of the middle school curriculum. And so what kids are expected, what they're working with is what they bring to BAMS from elementary schools, which for 8th graders is ancient history, for many of them. So those were mailed out just last week, I believe, to the 9th grade from BAMS. Yeah.
How many days are actually devoted to the testing itself?
This year, we spread it out over 2 weeks. We test every other day, and we test 2 sessions a day. So that would normally be 3 testing days for 7th grade and 4 testing days for 8th grade, because they also do the writing. But this year, we had a leadership council meeting, and we decided that rather than asking our students to take 2 math sessions, which are each about an hour and a half in length per day, so it's 3 hours of testing, we decided that that second session, they're burnt out. So we did a testing session in the morning, and then rearranged and they went back to the normal day, and so they actually ended up with an extra day. So 7th graders then 4 days, and 8th graders 5 days.
So not every student is taking a test during all of those days, or are they?
Yes, during all
During
the...
that time, every student in those groups being
Yes.
tested simultaneously.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's very quiet in the building.
Yeah.
It's math, earth science.
Well, the science kneecap occurred last May for that group of 8th graders who are now 9th graders. The results come back to the middle school in which they attended, and so I sent the letter home to the parents because they were our kids when they took the assessment. This fall kneecap is reading, math, and writing, and it's only the 8th graders for writing. And you want to tell them about the pilot last year and now this year?
So last year, kneecap Measured Progress was offering an online writing portion for 8th grade writing rather than writing in their booklets. And we did the pilot last year. It seemed to go pretty well, and people liked it. The kids seemed to, I mean, it's a whole new, using technology is what they're used to, that they could write on the technology. So we talked about it with the technology personnel that are in the building, whether or not we had enough computers to test all of our 8th graders. And we did it, so that was last Thursday, this past Thursday, they did all of their writing online. It was very successful. There's some glitches in the program, though, because there were students in some of the boxes, they only allowed 600 words, and so some students were actually writing more than 600 words, which was really nice, but then they were having to go back and edit the work to reduce it by a word here, a word there. So that's a little bit of a glitch, I would think, in the system, that they didn't have quite as much time or space to write everything that they wanted to say. But then they were editing a lot more, so maybe they wrote, a lot of times when they write things, they don't go back and have to look at it, so maybe it'll work out both ways for us.
Do you find that keyboarding is restricted for some kids? Keyboarding is when, 8th grade? This is early in
It's in our building, it's going to move into grade 7, and it's gradually starting to do that.
Unless they get the keyboard with their thumbs, and then I bet you they'd be
They're
fine.
very quick at they're growing an extra appendage to each hand.
I don't know if it seemed to be a problem. They certainly had enough time to finish their thoughts, so they figured, however they normally would do keyboarding. The different testing rooms that I was in, there weren't any students that were overwhelmed with the technology, that they hadn't seen it or used it in the past.
Thank you. Dave, what's going on at the Career Center?
Well, at the Career Center, we too have all been affected by kneecaps One of the things we've tried to do over the last few years is coordinate the various sending schools and have them try to at least concentrate in the same week or so. That is a failed effort, so we end up creating a very unique schedule over the whole kneecap testing frame of about 3 weeks, where we literally have a different set of kids coming in every day. So it's been interesting. But perhaps more importantly, we are going to introduce the new Career Center blog, which you could call probably the more of a 21st century newsletter. That will be just goes live this week. We'll start putting materials in here. And for those of you that would like to see the Career Center blog, you can just go to wrccvtblog.com. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
And I'll show you more of this on next Thursday.
Okay, Mr. Farron.
So just like at BAMS, we have completed our kneecaps. We have a few stragglers that are still getting gathered up by our school improvement coordinator, and they're taking their final hours as we speak. Well, maybe not yet, but tomorrow I think is the last day. We're hoping to wrap up. We had parent conferences last Thursday. They were very well attended. It looked as though none of the lines got really long, though we do check that continually throughout the evening. We also had the fall play this last weekend. It was a comedy of errors, and shows on Friday and Saturday night that went off without incident. And I think some people that actually got caught in the thunderstorm at the football game left the football game and went to the play, so it was kind of nice. It's a perfect storm, as they say. On November 1st, we're having a gentleman named Ed Gallagher, who goes by Ned. He's coming to meet with the faculty. He is the liaison between NEASC and BUHS, the New England Accreditation. And he'll be visiting with myself, the steering committee, which is our leadership team. He'll then meet with our committee chairs, which are a group of teachers, and he'll then meet with the full faculty to kind of discuss the process and how it's going to roll out for the next year. We're still slated for an April 2013 visit. I have requested that we have that put back to fall of 2013, but we haven't heard back yet. Because one of the things we learned at our pre-self-study meeting was that you should have at least a 3-semester self-study. And that's why we're asking for the fall, so we can have the full 3 semesters if we begin our self-study in January. The last thing is I really need to give Steve Rice and his band a lot of credit. Last Friday was our big homecoming day, and the BUHS band was everywhere. You couldn't look around without seeing a snare drum. And they started off by doing a parade and advisory. They do that for every home game. And what they do is they choose either the top floor or the first floor, because they can't move the drums up and down the stairs, and they parade doing the BUHS fight song. And people come out of advisory, and the cheerleaders lead that parade, and it's just a great opportunity for school spirit. And then that same day, the band really kind of sparked our pep rally and spent a lot of time playing. Again, they played the fight song and some other songs along the way. And then at the homecoming game, not this Friday, but the previous Friday, the band was like a 12th player. I had many parents come up to me and say it's like they're on the field almost, because their energy and excitement really kind of propelled us along. So Steve Rice and the rest of the band, they're doing amazing work, and I just want them to be recognized for that. And with the board's permission, I'd like to turn my report over to the student council so they can kind of show what they're doing.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
I'm Carly Emmons. I'm a BUHS senior, and I've been on student council for 4 years, so I've been there every year. And this year, our student council is actually as big as it's ever been. We have at least 4 members from every class, and I think we actually have, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere around 17 or 19 members. So there's a few extra, and it just means that we have more kids, more ideas, different groups, different perspectives. So it's good. And right now we're working on a project that we do every year, and it's Project 2000s. And we think of a skit. It has a theme. Like last year we did a fashion show, and we were all different foods that we could donate. So like some of us were good foods that were approved, and others were ones that couldn't be preserved, and they got booze and different things. So this year we're thinking up our new skit, and we present it to the student body, and then we also go over to bands. We didn't get to last year, but we normally do. And then we show it to the middle schoolers as well, and that just kind of raises awareness. So kids get more excited about wanting to donate, and we set up some boxes around the school that kids can bring in items. And then
another thing that we've been working on, among many little things within the school, we are setting up administrative lunches. We tried them out last year. We didn't do very many of them, but it's just where the administration sits down during the entire lunch period, so every student has a chance to come in and just voice their opinions and talk with the administration about things that are working and things that aren't working, and what each end of the spectrum can do to improve things at the school. And that's been our main focus. We've just been really getting our group together and getting ideas flowing. We'll probably have a lot more to report next meeting. That's about what we've been working on. Yep.
Well, thank you. Look forward to hearing from you on a regular basis. Okay, anything else for the high school?
No, thank you.
Let's see, central office.
No particular report, however, I do have copies of the committee assignments for various committees of the board.
I believe this is, as we've kind of sorted it out, at least for the time being, until we do have another Brattleboro representative, which I have not heard any news on, but hopefully it'll be soon. We can be up to full strength, and then there may be some changing around, but this is how it stands for right now. It looks like we still have David on one spot here. Or maybe he's going to put in a cameo performance from
Let's get his name.
Right. Okay, thank you. Board chair, the only thing that I have to mention is on the 27th of October, there will be a meeting in the Brattleboro Select Board meeting from 6 to 8 with Secretary of State Jim Condos around the open meeting laws and how to be appropriate and make sure that we are open to the public properly. And I plan to attend that. I believe it's open to anyone who has an interest in it. And so if you do, you'd be welcome to attend. And again, that's on the 27th of October at 6 p.m. in the Select Board room. I believe that's it for administrative reports. Did we leave anybody out? I don't think so. Is there any unfinished business? We have nothing on the agenda. Is there anything else? If not, we'll move on to new business. And we do have some policies that are for second, or just first read. Anybody know on the inside here?
I think it's first.
This is first.
Has everyone had a chance to everybody get a copy of those or get to read a copy of them online anyway? Me not being here, I didn't print them off. However, I had a procedural question on one of them. It's just a point of information that I can ask at another time. It wasn't anything to do with the fact that the problem with the policy. These are all policies that are pretty much developed from the state policies and have been approved by the WSESU board. Personnel files, financial reports and statements, risk management, the local action plan, and the annual school report. So they're seem to be pretty straightforward. I don't think there's much controversial in there, but at the next meeting they'll have Dana will be here and we'll be able to review and answer any questions. So I guess we would call that the first reading. Any questions or anything? Okay. All right. Is there anything else on the new business?